Have you ever been so excited about a goal or a dream of yours that you've asked someone you trust for help with it? Maybe you even hired a mentor or a coach to support you. But then through that experience and over time, you completely lost passion for the project and ended up never reaching that goal. It can be an incredibly discouraging experience, especially towards ever believing you could ever reach your goal. Right now, it seems like if you want any kind of support, whether that's learning how to homeschool or how to make sourdough bread, all the way to building a six-figure online income, there's a coaching program and a mentor you could hire to help you. Also, if you're employed, you may have leaders or managers in your company who are mentoring your career growth, or you might be asked to mentor others in that capacity. However, in a world with so many life coaches, leaders, and people showing up to mentor others, it can still be so tricky to find a good mentor. This is the first video in a 4-part series all about how to be a better mentor. I'm doing this series so that if a big part of your dream and goal involves mentoring and helping other people, you'll gain some awareness and hopefully see the skills that are needed to be able to be successful. I'm also doing this series so that if you are seeking mentoring to help bring your dream or goal to life, that you can be aware of what's actually helpful and what's not within mentoring, ideally so you don't get stuck if you happen to receive bad mentoring. For the purposes of this video series, let's define bad mentoring as mentoring that makes it harder for you to achieve your goal, or whatever you've hired or asked that mentor to help you with. It's important to recognize that having a great mentor can make a huge difference in helping you reach your goals. However, a bad experience with a mentor can also shake your confidence, both in yourself and in your actual dreams and goals. It can even create some trauma around your goal or dream, which can then make you avoid pursuing that goal or dream ever again. I've seen this happen with others and have experienced it firsthand myself. When we're already showing up with some level of resistance around our dream or goal, which is a part of why we're even seeking some mentoring or coaching in the first place, and then when you add poor mentoring on top of that, it can cement even further our own lack of belief in ourselves, and it can keep us even farther away from ever bringing that dream to life. As someone who really believes that we all have beautiful, meaningful dreams inside of us that we can make the world better with, I've worked many times over the years with people who have become life coaches, mentors, and leaders within their companies. Whether they were trying to help people with their health struggles, growing businesses, helping people advance in their careers, and all sorts of other kinds of mentoring. At the heart of most dreams that I've witnessed over the years is a desire to help other people. There's a strong desire to serve in some way, but I've also seen that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Wanting to help people isn't enough. When we don't have the skills built up, or we haven't had our eyes open to all the ways mentoring can go wrong, mentoring others can be very risky. Anytime we have influence in someone else's life, we need to exercise wisdom and caution. Bad mentoring can be sneaky to spot. People who have a lot of credibility and leadership experience, as well as coaches who even have a lot of good reviews on their websites, can still be bad mentors. Many online mentors and coaches like this have just spent more time and energy building up their brand and their marketing rather than actually becoming better mentors. This can make them appear trustworthy, but can still lead to bad mentoring experiences. In this video, we'll cover the top mistakes that mentors commonly make that sabotage their best intentions and those that they're mentoring. Then, in the next video, I'll share with you some powerful questions you can ask when mentoring someone to set them and you up for success. One of the big common mistakes I frequently see is when a mentor assumes what the other person wants or needs. Let's call this the advice giver trap. You wouldn't believe how many mentoring experiences I've had where the mentor doesn't even ask or get curious about what I want or why I'm even mentoring with them. One time, I even went on a week-long art retreat where the artist leading the retreat didn't even ask any of us about our current skill levels, nor what we were hoping to learn through that week of mentoring until the very last day. Instead, they just gave us a lot of advice all week long that maybe wasn't even relevant to most of us. us. Then on that final day, they were shocked to see that many of us were more advanced in our art skills than they had assumed us to be. How much more value would we have all gotten out of that experience? And how much better would those artists leading the experience be feeling about it all if they had asked these crucial questions on the first day instead? It's like that old adage of, we all know what assuming does. It makes an ass out of you and me. In my early days of mentoring, I did this a lot too. I think it came from feelings of insecurity and stress around wanting to prove my value to whomever I was mentoring. But I quickly learned that those you're mentoring will usually tell you exactly what they're hoping to get out of the experience. And when you listen to this and you actually show up and try to help them in those ways, they will often have a really epic experience working with you versus a really mediocre experience working with you when you just assume what they need and want. If you're mentoring with someone right now who is doing a lot of assuming, stand up for yourself and what you hired them to help you to do. Let them know that you'd like to reset your working relationship by clarifying your intentions, and help them to clearly know how you'd like their support to help you to reach your goals. Another big mistake I've seen a lot over the years is when a mentor sees their role as being the expert and then minimizes or completely devalues anything the person they are mentoring is bringing to the table. This is the "I'm the only or best expert" trap. I think this has come a lot, especially over the years, from a lot of online influencers and coaching programs telling lots of people to find whatever they're an expert in and then to start a business helping people with that thing. A really crucial thing to realize when you're in a mentor-mentee relationship is that you, the mentor, are not any better than the person you are mentoring. Your life experience and your results aren't the only way of doing things and may not even be the best way of doing things for the person you're working with. Everyone has their own life paths and intuition that they're bringing to the situation. Also, the "I'm the only or best expert" trap can make you feel easily threatened by others who are trying to help people in similar ways. I remember being incredibly intimidated at the beginning of my mentoring journey. Whenever someone I was mentoring mentioned how they had read something somewhere or heard someone else give really helpful advice, especially on something that they were working on with me, I'd think, oh no, they're gonna want to stop working with me because I should have known all the answers and I didn't tell them that or help them with that. Or I'd want to run away and hide whenever I found someone online who was doing something kind of similar to what I was doing, but maybe had even more credibility and clout. But over time, I came to find that this mindset didn't help me to actually help more people. Instead, focusing on showing up to serve and not needing to be the expert helped me to help many more people. I would highly recommend removing the persona and even the label of being an expert entirely from how you help other people. You don't need to be the expert to make a life-changing difference in someone else's life. And in fact, if you personally feel like you need to be the expert, you'll often do more harm than good with those you're trying to help. I like to reframe this instead to show up as the guide or the expert resource. Whatever helps you get out of the mindset of posturing and instead helps you show up to serve is a good place to start. If you're currently working with a mentor or a coach who has to show up as the expert with you, be aware that this is rarely helpful and could potentially even be sabotaging what you're working on with them. Tread thoughtfully and carefully forward about how to proceed with that working relationship. This naturally leads us to the next classic mistake in mentoring, believing that your way is the only or best way. Let's call this the my way or the highway trap. As I mentioned in the I'm the only or best expert trap, your life experiences and the way that you achieved results aren't the only way of doing it and might not even be the best way of doing it for the person you're working with. Everyone really does have their own life paths and intuition guiding them. Your job as a mentor is not to force your way onto your mentees. Instead, it's using all of that wisdom and experience that you've gained to be more like a Sherpa helping someone climb Mount Everest. The Sherpa brings immense value because they understand and know the terrain and trails so well that they can help those who are climbing to avoid dangerous pitfalls and frustrating setbacks. They also bring incredible value because they understand and know the signs of altitude sickness or the signs of the weather changing and weather patterns. This helps them better show up to help those that they're working with to stay safe and actually reach their goal of summiting Mount Everest. A good mentor operates really similarly to this, helping those they're mentoring to avoid pitfalls and setbacks, while also watching for subtle signs that could take their mentee off track. They show up as a guide, recognizing that everyone they're working with may have a lot of similarities, but they are also unique individuals. If you're staying focused on helping the person you're working with to reach their goals and get the results that they desire, it will matter to you a lot less if they're doing it the right way, meaning your way. Instead, it will matter much more if they're making progress and are set up for success to reach their goal. If you're working with a mentor who is insistent that their way is the right and only way, try to ask more questions so that you can understand better why they're recommending what they're recommending. This might help you to better tailor their counsel to your unique situation. It can be important to avoid blindly following or just trusting whatever they're saying, potentially ignoring your own wisdom and intuition. Another classic mistake I see with mentors, especially with those who have built up a lot of financial success, whether that be around their coaching programs or mentoring specifically. There's this sneaky insecurity about being passed up by their mentees. This one is so subtle that they might not even consciously be aware that they're doing this. I call it the king of the mountain complex. It's where a mentor, whether consciously or not, will actually sabotage their mentee's best efforts and push them down whenever they come too close to being as good or better than the mentor themselves. The root of this mentoring mistake comes from a mentor being afraid of losing their status and value. I see this happen mostly in long-term mentoring relationships where the mentee might be getting impressive results in the beginning, but over time they won't see these good results continue. Those good initial results can reflect really positively back on their mentor, but the longer they work with that mentor, the harder it is to maintain really good results and a great relationship with this type of mentor. Whenever they go to their mentor to keep trying to get great results, the mentor will gaslight them into thinking that their lack of results has everything to do with them and nothing to do with the mentor. No matter what, the mentor has to stay on top and must be perceived as the best and most valuable. The mentor must stay on the pedestal, which means everybody else has to stay in the pit by comparison. There's a clear hierarchy in these types of mentor relationships that isn't helpful toward you reaching your goals. If this scenario is sounding familiar to you with a mentoring relationship that you're currently in, recognize that we do outgrow mentors. Even if you haven't gotten all the results you were hoping for in working with them, if there's a pit pedestal dynamic at work, it's going to be hard for you to continue to work with this mentor long term and keep getting great results. In my experience, this kind of dynamic is a deal breaker in a mentor relationship. Not only can all these mistakes be red flags to watch out for, but they can often lead us to wasting our money, time, and energy. My hope in sharing all of this is to help you to better discern what good mentoring looks like. Having a great mentor can be game changing, but we need to be able to tell the difference between a good mentor and a bad one, especially to get the support that we really need. I also hope that seeing some of these classic pitfalls will help better arm you to be a better mentor to those that you're working with. Now that we know what not to do, let's dive into the core skill of transformative mentorship, asking powerful questions.